Hello and welcome to the Lunar Portal. I'm so excited to have you here. The fact that you're in this course tells me that you're ready to start aligning your life with the frequencies and energies of each lunar cycle. It came to my awareness a few years ago that we see the word manifesting being thrown around, especially with the extended use of social media. But not many people are doing this with proper intention and in alignment with the way that the planetary cycles are cosmically trying to get our attention. And so I have spent the last few months creating this course in the hope and expectation and assumption that you will start to experience accelerated manifestation because you are aligning the cycles of the moon in accordance with your birth chart. This is what makes this a little bit different to any other manifestation or new moon or full moon intention setting course out there, or ritual, you could say. So aligning your life with the lunar cycle is something that our ancestors have done since the dawn of time. They started to notice synchronicities with the new moon and full moon as we reach a full moon every 29 days, and the same with the new moon. That's how long a lunar cycle is. And so as we start to align our lives with the lunar cycles, you will notice a big shift. And I noticed this a couple years ago, probably 6, 7 years ago. And I can tell you that through this, it's how I manifested Nick. Nick is my biggest and most beautiful manifestation I could ever be grateful for. And I've also had other accomplishments that are very personal to me. And it's one of the things that I've aligned my life, and these rituals I hold dear to my heart. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you exactly how to do this with your personal birth chart. You don't need to know much about astrology. You don't need to know much about anything. I give you the step-by-step instructions, and then it's up to you each month in accordance with the new moon and full moon to have a look and see, well, how is this particular cycle affecting me? And so once we start aligning our lives and understanding the energies of the new moon, this is where our collective astrology, you know, the energies around us can really hone in on your specific intentions, because each new moon brings its own unique signature. And we want to be able to learn how to work with it and not against it. And so each new moon and full moon, you'll notice that, depending on the pages that you follow, I try to share as best I can on my stories in particular about the energies of the new moon. And you'll notice that each new moon or full moon is in a particular zodiac sign. So there is like what we would call almost like a bus timetable. Imagine a train timetable. And every month, every 29 days, the full moon or new moon aligns with a particular zodiac sign. And this is in accordance with the 12 zodiac signs. And so knowing what area of your life is being impacted is really, really important. And what happens here is this is shown by the house that the new moon falls in when you're looking at your own birth chart. Okay. And in a moment, I'm going to share with you the website, and it's all linked into the course portal to show you how to do this. Now, the amazing thing is, well, I'm going to toot my own horn here, is that I've provided you with support, and also there could be instances where you're challenged to grow. And in this case, we want your intentions to come to fruition during that cycle. And that is defined by the aspects that the new moon or full moon is making to your personal natal planets. Because sometimes not every new moon and full moon is going to personally impact you. On the other hand, they are really going to impact you. And it's during those moments that you really want to be conscious and intentional with your thoughts, your words, your actions, and the way that you show up in the world. Because I guarantee you that everything in your life that you've created, once upon a time, you would have consciously or unconsciously, it's more likely that you've done this unconsciously, made those intentions. And so I'm going to share my screen with you and teach you how to do this. Okay, here we go. So Once you open up to this link that's linked up into the portal, what you want to do is you want to type your date of birth in. So I'm going to choose a random birth date, 9th of September. Let's go with 1999. And ideally, you do want your specific birth time. If you don't have your specific birth time, you can go for 12 noon, but the closer you get to your birth time, the better. So I'm putting this as 4:10 p.m. and then you need to put the location. Now, what you want to do down here is full moons in the year. So obviously we're currently in the year 2024 and I'm still living in Sydney. So we want to go with Sydney. Now, all the other settings over here, keep them as is. There's nothing to do there. Okay. You then calculate the chart. Just give it a moment to do so. Bear with it. Okay. Now, this is my birth chart in the middle. And, oh, isn't that interesting? I chose a day when it was a full moon. That's a total fluke. There you go. This is a really good example. So I was born on the day, of a new moon because the sun and the moon were together. Now, you don't need to know much about your chart down here. What you want to look at is down here. So these are the dates for 2024. And so what we have here is the dates, and then the white shows us the new moon, and then the black shows us, no, other way around, sorry. The keys up here. So a full moon is the white moon, and then a new moon is darker. And then we have either a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse. So you can notice here around March, we had the eclipses, March and April. These were eclipse, new moons and full moons. So I'm just going to jump ahead. Today is June the 14th. And so there is a full moon coming up next week. And so I'm going to go to next week's date and it gives me the exact time. So the next full moon is at 11:07 a.m. in Sydney because that's the location that I put in the settings. And this new moon is in, so you notice over here, this tells us the zodiac sign that the moon is falling in. So over here, I'm just going to zoom in. This is the sign of Capricorn. Now, again, in your portal, you have an astrology code cheat sheet that will basically interpret this for you. Now, the thing that you want to look out for is this number over here, number 11. So in other words, this full moon is happening in your 11th house. So in natal house 11. And so what I'm going to do is you go back to your chart over here and look at the numbers, almost like numbers on a clock. Number 11 is over here. Now, if I look over here, there are no planets affecting you. So therefore, the energies of this full moon are going to be a little bit more broad for you, but nonetheless, it's going to impact your 11th house. So what you then do is you go back to the portal and you scroll down. Now, next week, it's not a new moon. It's actually a full moon. So full moon in the houses, you click on full moon in 11th house, and then you read all about it here. And then what we want you to do is, as you are attuning to these energies, you want to read up what is the frequency of the 11th house? How does this personally affect me? And then you go to your workbook and then you fill out the questions in alignment with that. Now, full moons are essentially a manifestation of intentions that you set 6 months prior. So we would have had a new moon in Capricorn back in January of this year or late December in 2023. And so what you want to do then is have a reflection, have a moment of what was I doing 6 months ago? What intentions was I setting? And how has that come to life now? Is it a moment for me to let go? Is there something that's not working that I just need to release? Is it something that has come to life and I should be celebrating? Is it a culmination of something? So therefore, you want to align with those energies. And so you'll do the same thing with the new moon. So if I were to, plan ahead, July the 6th, we have a new moon at 8:57 a.m. it's happening in the sign of Cancer. So over here, we've got the sign of Cancer, and it's happening in my 5th house. So if I scroll up and I go to my 5th house, that's where my zodiac sign of Cancer is. I can see here that there are no planets particularly impacting me then. And so, however, I'm going to go to the portal and new moon in the 5th house. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to have a read about how these energies will play out. Because the more you hone in on the themes, the topics, and the experiences of that particular zodiac house, you are going to get faster, accelerated, and more focused and nuanced manifestations. Okay. We want to start aligning our lives because there is nothing more unique as your birth chart. So I really hope this helps. If you have any questions, pop them into the sections and I'll endeavor to answer them as best I can. But doing this is really going to help you in so many ways. It's going to help you hone in. It's teaching you how to align because, like I said, there is nothing more unique than your birth chart. There could be generalizations out there on social media, but the more you align yourself to your birth chart, the better, more enhanced your life becomes. One thing I forgot to share, I'm just going to go back to sharing my screen, is I'm going to select, so let's say there was a new moon. So over here, we've got a new moon in the 7th house. Now, in this little column over here, it has the symbol conjunct the moon, okay? Now, what this tells us, if I go back up to your 7th house over here has your sun, your moon, and your Mercury. Now, what this tells us is on that particular date, so the 7th is, so in September, this particular new moon is going to personally impact you. It's right on your moon. So what you would do then is you'll go to the portal and you'll click on aspects to the moon. Click on that and then you have a read of it. And that's because that particular cycle, that particular new moon is personally impacting you, okay? And that's another way that you can utilize these energies. So the inside is where the planets were on the very moment of your birth, okay? That will never change. Your natal chart will never change. And that's why it's so important to get a natal chart reading. And no two readings are ever going to be the same because there is so much to unpack from these frequencies. And so what happens then is the outside wheel, you can see all the numbers here. These are the new moons and full moons that happen throughout the year, okay? As the planets move, your inside wheel stays the same, but the outside frequencies and planetary movements change, okay? So if you have any questions, do let me know. One thing I will say is just in a reminder around boundaries, this is a course, one-on-one, I guess, expectations I cannot adhere to within the parameters of this course. But if you would love a birth chart reading or a transit reading to see how the next 12 months are going to personally impact you, not just with the sun and the moon, but with the other planets, if you're especially going through some big changes and you're unsure how to move forward, the answers will always lie in the chart, okay? Your blueprint is there and we want to make the unconscious conscious. So do let me know how you go. Share information, share some wins and some excitement on your socials. Don't forget to tag me. It's always nice to see that from clients, and I really appreciate your support in this. Good luck and happy alignment.